I was born into a rich and important family in Tyrone, Ireland. I was the younger of two daughters, and we were the only children. My sister was 6 years older than me, so we didn't spend much time playing together when I was little. When I was just 12 years old, my sister got married. I still remember her wedding day. The house was full of people laughing, singing, and dancing. Everyone was happy. Except me. My heart felt heavy when my sister left with her new husband, Mr. 𝘚𝘌𝘍. She was always so kind to me, much kinder than my mother ever was, and when she left for her new home in Dublin, I cried quietly in my room. A year after her marriage, we received a letter from Mr. 𝘚𝘌𝘍. My sister was very ill, and she wanted to come back home to Tyrone to stay with us. I was sad that she was sick, but deep inside, I was happy she was returning. They'll leave Dublin on Sunday, my father told me, and they'll arrive here on Tuesday evening. Tuesday finally came, and it felt like the longest day of my life. Hour after hour passed, and I kept listening for the sound of her carriage. The sky turned dark, and soon, it was midnight, but still, there was no sign of her. I couldn't sleep. Suddenly, around 1 a.m., I heard a faint sound far away, the sound of crying. My heart raced. I jumped out of bed and ran downstairs. "They're here. They're here!" I shouted. My father and I quickly opened the front door. We waited outside, shivering in the cold. We heard the crying again, soft but clear. But when we looked out onto the road, there was no one there. No carriage. No lights. Nothing. My father and I exchanged a worried glance. Something felt strange. And wrong. The next morning, a man came to our house with terrible news. My sister had died. She became seriously ill on Monday and passed away at exactly 1 a.m. on Tuesday, the same moment we had stood outside, waiting for her. I was heartbroken. For the next 2 years, I lived like a shadow. I didn't laugh, didn't talk, and didn't want to see anyone. Then, one day, I heard that Mr. 𝘚𝘌𝘍 had remarried. He found a new bride so quickly. And I felt angry and betrayed. By the time I turned 16, I was the only child left in my family. My parents began arranging visits with wealthy men, hoping to find me a husband. But I wasn't ready. I didn't want marriage. Finally, my mother took me to Dublin. In Dublin, we'll meet richer and more interesting men than in Tyrone, she said. Life in the city was different. I met new people, went dancing every evening, and for the first time in years, I laughed again. My sadness slowly faded. Though I never truly forgot my sister, then one evening, my mother softly asked, "Do you know Lord 𝘚𝘌𝘍𝘓?" I looked at my mother and shook my head. "No, I don't know him," I said quietly. She smiled mysteriously. "You will," she whispered. "He's young, handsome, and very rich. Everyone in Dublin talks about him. He will be at the ball tonight." That evening, I dressed carefully. My mother helped me choose a soft white gown, and she fixed my hair just right. When we arrived at the grand hall, music filled the air and candles glowed softly, making everything look magical. Then I saw him. Lord 𝘚𝘌𝘍𝘓. He stood across the room, tall and graceful, speaking to a group of people. His dark hair framed his face, and his blue eyes sparkled under the lights. He looked confident yet kind, and for some reason, I couldn't look away. A few minutes later, one of the hosts brought him over to meet us. "Lady Fallon, this is Miss Tyrone," the host said politely. Lord 𝘚𝘌𝘍𝘓 bowed slightly and smiled at me. "It's an honor to meet you," he said warmly. My heart skipped a beat. We danced together that night, and for the first time since my sister's death, I felt truly happy. He was gentle, polite, and he listened when I spoke. Unlike many other men I had met, he didn't try to impress me with wealth or power. He simply made me feel seen. Over the next few weeks, we met often. We walked through Dublin's beautiful gardens, attended concerts, and talked about everything: books, music, and our dreams. Slowly, I began to fall in love with him. One evening, under the soft glow of the street lamps, he took my hand and said, "Miss Tyrone, I have loved you from the moment I saw you. Will you marry me?" I was so shocked I couldn't speak at first. My heart was pounding, and tears filled my eyes. Finally, I whispered, "Yes." When I told my parents, my mother was delighted, and my father hugged me tightly. The wedding was planned for spring. The house filled with excitement once again, but this time, the happiness felt complete. On the day of the wedding, as I walked down the aisle, I thought about everything I had been through, my sister, my sadness, my loneliness. Life had taken so much from me, but it had also given me new beginnings. After we married, Lord Fallon and I moved to his estate by the sea. Every evening, we would sit by the shore, watching the waves crash against the rocks. Sometimes, I thought of my sister and whispered a silent prayer for her. Life had taught me something important: pain doesn't last forever. Love finds its way back into your heart when you least expect it. Even now, whenever it rains softly at night, I remember the night I waited for my sister. And I smile. She will always be a part of me. But so is this new chapter, a chapter filled with hope, love, and second chances.